digital-lifestyle.com. Live the digital lifestyle.
Welcome to the Digital Lifestyle video show, and today I'm going to have a quick look at the Sony UX1. I haven't got long with this device, and Sony kindly sent it over, and I've had a relatively short amount of time. In fact, the UPS guy is on his way to collect this, so I'm going to do a quick video. But as you know, I'm a big fan of the UMPC, and I've got my Samsung Q1, which I use a lot, especially for browsing the web on the sofa. I use it for doing the intros for the Media Centre show with a headset on there, or a microphone, and I use it for Skype calls and other stuff. And it's a nice little device. And for browsing the web, I actually got a pen I use, which I'm going to put down here now. But you know, it's a nice handheld device. It's a nice web browsing device. So I was looking really at the UX as something similar to that, and this is the UX. The first thing you can see, it's got a lovely slide-out keyboard, is the size difference. If you compare the two devices, you can see that. I'll show you that there. You can see that it's a much smaller device. And first of all, that'd be great, because one thing I don't like about the Q1 is really you can't carry it around in a pocket or anything. It's too big for that, so I tend to leave it at home more than I'd like, you know, because you just can't carry a kind of thing around with you all the time when you're taking the kids out. So I thought the UX would be good for pocketing. But the first thing I noticed really is, if you can see there the thickness, it is quite a thick unit, and it is not really pocketable unless you've got really big pockets. So that was a bit disappointing, but the overall size of it is very nice. First thing I found though when it's come to using it was that it's not a one-handed browsing device like the Q1 is. So with the Q1 you sit there and sort of tap at the web page to read it, and you can be watching TV and sit on the sofa, and it's not too intrusive experience. So one of the benefits of tablet PCs is you've not kind of got the screen just sat in your face all the time. You can have it down, and it feels like you're not closed off and sort of immersed in the laptop. This device, I found that I ended up using it like this because of the small screen size. It's a 4.5-inch screen, so it is relatively small, and yeah, I did find myself sat using it like this quite a lot. But let's have a look at some of the bits on the outside of it first. So, like I said, 4.5-inch touchscreen. Very nice, bright screen. We'll look at the screen in a moment. It's got touchscreen, it's got a mouse, which actually works very well. I'm left-handed, so it's in the wrong side for me, but I still managed to use it. You can use the mouse just by putting pressure on the thumb. If you use the track sticks on laptops, it's similar to that, and it actually does work quite well. You've got your left and your right mouse buttons, which you need because there's no touchscreen human interface drivers for this, like I've got working on the Q1. Out of the box, the Q1 didn't do it on Vista, but through some sort of good hacks on the internet, I managed to find some ways of getting the drivers on there. So that means that if you hold the pen down and keep it held down, it sees that as a right click, and so you can right click, where obviously with the pen normally there's no way of doing that. On an active digitised tablet PC you can press the button to right click, but you can't on that. So you can't right click with the finger on here, but you've got the left and right mouse buttons on there. And we've got a button here to launch Sony's applications, which we'll have a look at later. A Fingerprint Reader, which works really well, which is really nice for logging in. And actually that is one benefit on a UMPC of having a Fingerprint Reader, is that you've not got to peck at the on-screen keyboard to type your password in. You can use the Fingerprint Reader. Got a camera on the front and a camera on the back, and I'll look at the specs on those later. We've got Sony memory stick there. We've got let's get a little closer, a single USB port, power, a docking station, which I'll show you in a moment, headphones, microphone, and the battery on the back. And it comes with a little pen, a retractable pen, but like I said, I don't really use that. I use my own pen. Okay, so let's have a look at the stuff that comes with it I mentioned about the docking station. So we've got power supply for it. And then we've got this. This is the sort of docking station cradle unit for it. The slot there for it. And this has got 2 USB ports on the back, one on the side, monitor, firewire, and power and Ethernet. Okay, so fits in there, fits in like that, and we can put the power. So that fits in really nicely in there, so you can put your keyboard and mouse, monitor into it, and then you can use it as your main workstation. And the machine is powerful enough to use it as that. And we'll come back to the specs in a minute. Okay, let's have a look at this. I'm going to show you now. I'm going to pause the video and I'm going to come back and we're going to look at the on-screen stuff. So you can see that first off, it's a nice and responsive device. It's very quick. It's running aero glass, so you can see there. It's very smooth and responsive to the device. Also on here now you can see the back of the keyboard, which is very nice when using it in sort of a dark environment. And as I mentioned, you can use I could use the mouse. So I've got some music playing on there now. Do that along a little bit. You can hear fairly decent speakers. So quite a nice device to listen to music. It's got the headphone sockets on there as well, so I've been using it for that. Now, this is running Windows Vista. Let me shut that up. This is running Windows Vista Business Edition, so there's no media center on here. But installed on here I think it's Power DVD that was installed on WinDVD. Let's just have it. So that means that you can play recorded TV files on here without any problems, and I've tested that. Okay, one thing I wanted to have a look at was the touch screen interface, which is quite nice. You may have heard of the origami experience that Microsoft did, which is kind of touch interface for UMPCs. Sony have got their own, which you launch through this button here. And give it a closer look at that. You see you've got a nice look there, a nice interface there for touch. And what I like about this, if you tap it with your fingernail, it doesn't do anything. It's actually detecting that you've got to press it properly with your finger, which is quite nice, is that you can't accidentally press anything. So if I wanted to launch some music now, press music like that. Not quite as touch screen friendly. And then it launches their own application. And this is where that touch interface falls down. As you can see now, it's launched Sonic Stage, and that isn't quite as touch screen friendly, that application. So, nice idea in theory, but in practice, it doesn't really work. It's a bit like having a media center. Every time you press a bit of TV or music or pictures, it just shelled back out into the relevant place. So if you went to music, you loaded Windows Media Player. Great interface, but as soon as you try and do anything with it, it goes back to the regular Windows. So, nice in practice. If they just carry on this through a bit more in the application, this would be good. The origami experience does make a better job of that, and I think I've covered that on an earlier show.